The Hawks jump back into Big Ten play, a short week as Iowa travels to Maryland for the first time since 2014, a Friday night contest. Welcome to Black and Gold Breakdown. Rob Brooks along with Gavin McGrath, and pleased to be joined by former Hawkeye wide receiver Matt Vanderberg. And Matt, appreciate you coming on. Lend us a little expertise on the offensive side of the football, and a pretty good week to jump into this show with some deep balls last week.
No joke. Thanks for having me. I appreciate being here. It's nice to see the ball fly down the field a little bit.
Yeah. Well, tell everybody what you're up to, obviously after a terrific career at the university.
Currently, I'm a real estate agent with the Bales team at Urban Acres Real Estate. And things have kind of been going pretty quick on that front. People are looking around. The market's just continuing to be a good thing. So real good business to be in, but obviously try to keep my eye on the Hawks.
Oh, absolutely. And living in Solon currently, right?
For sure. Yeah, moved out there not a month ago, but the August before, so still kind of getting used to what small town feel is. We moved from Iowa City and Coralville, so small town, but not super small, if that makes sense.
A growing community.
Right.
Yeah, we've done a lot of football games down there, and always a lot of fun. And certainly, having looking back, one thing that I kind of look at with the first four ball games is has Iowa gone through any adversity? Ranked 5 in the country, 4-0. You think, well, maybe they've kind of cruised right through, but you go back to that big victory at Iowa State, obviously against a big-time crowd, a good opponent, and then being down at the half to Colorado State and having to come back with everything that is on the line looking forward, some adversity that the Hawks able to get through last weekend too.
Yeah, it was scary for a little while, wasn't it? We were going to halftime going, geez, we can't do anything. They were throwing some run blitzes at us. We were really having a tough time running the football. And then that turnover late, and actually the Boo Birds came out a little bit, and which I think is unnecessary. But, I think this team is built with a lot of adversity that they faced over the last 18 months. So maybe on the field this year they haven't faced a ton, but, what they went through last summer, and then obviously with COVID, the challenges, the 2 losses to start the year. They have a lot of guys back. So a lot of those guys have that resilience and that grit built in them. So I feel good about that side of us right now.
Yeah, and I think you look at a guy like, we'll talk about him more later, but Jack Campbell. That's what Iowa football is all about. And I think with him being one of the leaders on that defense, he's going to be a captain on Friday night for the first time in his career, well-deserved. But boy, he just, in talking to him, he's just so thankful for the opportunity and just loves to play football with this group of guys.
Yeah, and he plays with a chip on his shoulder. In that interview, they asked him about his size, and he talked about maybe one particular coaching staff that was recruiting him, not Iowa, that, you don't have the ankle bend we want. You're too big to play linebacker. And the guy, since he reminds you of Greenway, type player. This guy's special. He's going to be playing on Sundays for a long time. 18 tackles, Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, and just plays with a mean streak when everybody rallies behind him.
Yeah, and it is interesting too because he does, even all the success, he finds a way to kind of keep that chip on his shoulder, and that's the sign of a really good football player at still a pretty young age.
Yeah, I know it, and I think all of our linebackers, Seth, I think they combined for 31 tackles. I think Seth's response was great, which was, hey, you had 31 tackles between you and Jack. He's like, geez, how many did Jack have? Special group, and then Justin Jacobs really filling in to be a pretty elite linebacker and talent for us.
Yeah, the defense is rolling, and the offenses look good at times. And Matt, you got to look at this passing game. From your perspective, where is it now and where can it go?
Well, I think we got to see where it can go this past Saturday. I think teams are trying to, you look at Colorado State, they were bringing 7 to 8 guys, dropping the safety down into the box and daring us to throw. I think if Spencer wanted to, I think he could throw it like 90 yards in the air. I really believe he's got that kind of cannon. We're just waiting to see it. And now Keegan being able to get some great releases, especially on the post he caught over across the middle of the field. That's where the offense can go, and then that'll open up the run game and, like KF always says, complementary football.
Mm-hmm. And this, too, this receiver group has seen at least 6 play every single game. That's not always been the case at Iowa, has it?
Usually it's like 3 or 4, I think, that kind of establish themselves. And I think It can be both good and bad. You've got a lot of rotating people, but at the same time, a lot of experience and a lot of big plays have happened. Arlen Bruce comes in on the end around, gets 14 yards. Jackson Ritter makes some big plays against Iowa State to get us rolling before Luke Lachey gets the very next play against Iowa State. So having that many people in, I think, is both good, but you also want to make sure you have an alpha. And I think eventually we're going to get one outside of Laporta.
Yeah, and I think you could kind of tell those first few games, Bruce, Keegan Johnson, just maybe not getting a lot of targets, but we're out there for some snaps just to kind of get their feet wet.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's valuable, especially at this time, because now, like, we're about to go into Big Ten play. Guys move a little quicker. Things are a little more amped up. Some trophies are going to get introduced. So I'm looking forward to what the rest of the season holds.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It all starts Friday night at Maryland. The Hawkeyes, of course, already with one Big Ten victory. Don't forget that Indiana victory to start the season. We'll be back and take a look at our top 5 plays from the Colorado State game when we come back. Black and Gold Breakdown on MC22 is brought to you by McGrath Family of Dealerships, 5 Seasons Tire, Tom Riley Law Firm, Collins Community Credit Union, Heartland Hearing Center, and by Extreme, powered by Mediacom.
Every second, 127 new devices connect to the internet. You can feel it happening. Our digital world expanding with every breath. We're entering a whole new era of connectivity, and Mediacom will be ready to power it with one of the nation's first 10G platforms. We'll be bringing you more speed, more capacity, more security, and the power to do more than you ever dreamed possible. Today, more than ever, you need fast, reliable internet. At Mediacom, we want you to know you can count on us. Our fiber-powered 100% gigabit technology network was built for the future. We have enormous capacity and power and 99.99% network reliability. So even though these are uncertain times, we're prepared. And you can be certain we'll keep your world connected.
Thank you for virtual family dinners and long-distance birthday wishes. Thank you for sweet streaming melodies and spontaneous dance parties. Thank you for keeping classrooms together and learning alive. Thank you to our incredible network of employees who make all these beautiful connections possible.
Time for our top 5 plays, and we'll take a look at some big offensive plays, and then really, I think, a defensive play that really turned the game around for the Hawkeyes. And how about Keegan Johnson? Of course, highly touted out of the state of Nebraska. Got things rolling, and last year people were wondering if Spencer Petras could throw a deep ball. Well, this is a pretty good ball, and right into the hands. Great concentration by Keegan Johnson, who just ran by the defender. And that's the type of breakaway speed that he has. A little hand fighting there, makes the catch inside the 10. And how about that for your first collegiate play?
Not bad
As
at
a
all
catch.
for him. Yep, that was a big get too, with his dad playing at Nebraska. I'll tell you, this was just a huge play in the game. Obviously, you can see we're down 14-7 right now. There's 8 minutes left in the third period. Yawa Black gets his hand on. I thought he got great separation there in this pass rush. Gets his hands on the ball. Jack Campbell's there.
What a shot.
Kind of a gift.
Jack Campbell there.
Yep, that's just right place, right time. So big time play right there.
Well, and it sparked the comeback, which is the very next play they come back. Little change of direction there. They send Goodson out. We do the flat. Tyrone Tracy sits on the inside. Nobody expects him to come back. Statue of Liberty, kind of a la Boise State quite a few years ago. Monte Pottebaum just makes sure the guy comes underneath. Great turn. Great turn.
Huge play there. And this, I thought, was set up really well, not only with the previous second quarter when we threw the pick, all right, with that tunnel screen, but we threw it a couple times in the previous game. So this play was on film. All three of those guys are crashing to make the play, thinking of getting another pick. Great play by Laporta, fake tunnel screen, wide open.
Just don't drop it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Another deep ball. Spencer put some great touch on this. Nico makes a phenomenal adjustment. I think he could have just drifted a little bit, made it a little easier, but he's trying to do 89 proud. I get it. So he does a nice little corner. Again, able to relocate the ball, come down in bounds. Phenomenal play.
Yeah, I was right down there, maybe 15, 20 feet from it, and boy, he just didn't think he had a chance to come up with that once he got his body turned, but he did, and that was a big-time play. And Hawkeyes, finish off the non-conference portion of the schedule in the right way, but I'd tell you, Colorado State, impressive to me, played hard, which you knew they would, and physical. Really, they came out and Hitchin, I think, threw some wrinkles offensively and defensively at the Hawkeyes, and you go back and they'd struggled. So really not much anticipation that this would be a close game. Thought the defense improved a little bit against Toledo the week before, but Hawks got all they wanted, but, it's still a W, right?
Yeah, and Steve Adagio, he'll get that thing turned around. He's an Urban Meyer guy. He was D coordinator for Florida during a couple of those national
BC
titles.
head coach. Yeah.
Yep, and I think he'll get that thing turned around. It just now on film, they had a lot of those run blitzes they were running at us that we had a tough time blocking. We've got some young guys still up front. Connor Colby made the start at right guard because Justin Britt was hurt. True freshman. Guy was playing high school football a year ago. Right. So there's going to be some challenges we have to clean up front. And as you know, running the football starts with our 5 guys. But I also think that, we need to be able to stretch the field. We ended up throwing the ball 8 times further than 20 yards this past Saturday. And I think we have that on film now. They know we can put it over the top, and that we got to keep these guys honest.
Yeah, looking for those explosive plays. Justin Britt anticipated to be back and available against Maryland, and also Kyler Schott, getting more involved, working forward, so he should play more this weekend as well. We'll be back. More Black and Gold Breakdown coming up.
While a lot is changing in our world, at Mediacom, our focus remains the same, making sure you have the fastest, most reliable connection possible. During this critical time, we know your needs are changing. You may be working or learning from home, relying on telemedicine, or finding new ways to keep everyone entertained. If you need more speed, call or go online, and Mediacom will double your speed immediately for as low as $10 more a month for 1 year. Right now, millions of people and billions of devices are connected to the internet. Homes, businesses, hospitals, schools. The security and reliability of these connections are more important than ever. That's why at Mediacom, we've built a network to protect them. A network that sees threats, fixes problems before they occur, and keeps you going with 99.99% network reliability. Every second, 127 new devices connect to the internet. You can feel it happening, our digital world expanding with every breath. We're entering a whole new era of connectivity, and Mediacom will be ready to power it with one of the nation's first 10G platforms. We'll be bringing you more speed, more capacity, more security, and the power to do more than you ever dreamed possible.
Welcome back to Black and Gold Breakdown, presented by McGrath Family of Dealerships. As we talk Players of the Week, let's go to Keegan Johnson. Just haven't had a chance to talk about him, and rightfully so. Came on the scene. It's nice to be able to talk to true freshmen now. Couldn't do that when both of you guys were playing. But 2 receptions, 92 yards. Of course, to score a touchdown on your first ever catch. Had a chance to talk to him after the game, and he was just ecstatic. And I think gets a lot of support from his brothers and, of course, his dad. They talk all the time, and been brought along slow. He's had several conversations with the coaching staff. Hey, just hang in there. We're going to bring you along slow. And he burst on the scene against Colorado State.
Well, and I think the main thing, too, is the releases. I mean, the little things. It's the footwork. It's getting open. Obviously, to catch a touchdown on your first play. And not only that, but it's in Kinnick. I mean, that's almost like poetry that's being written, right? And then he comes back with the other deep post. He wins inside, stacks him. You probably could have, if you're going to coach against perfection, like our receivers coaches used to say, you could have driven out and maybe he scores on that because Spencer can he gets a little more space between him and the DB at the top of the route. But, outside of that little minute thing, he's got a bright career.
Is that something that quarterback receivers talk a lot about, or more receivers and coach?
As far as driving out of the route?
Yeah, just the simple thing, or the little details to make big plays.
Well, CJ would get on you pretty quick. But I think it starts from the receivers coach, and it kind of goes about how if you just put your head down and you run a lot faster if you look forward than if you look behind you. So if you're already in a position where you're 2 yards deep on the DB and now he's in a catch-up position and you even elongate that gap, like I talked about, I think Spencer can bomb it.
Yeah.
So giving Keegan the opportunity then to find it and come underneath. There were times in practice where you'd be running a deep ball and you don't think you're going to get there, put your head down, drive, find it again, and you find yourself underneath it just from driving out. And just little things like that, I think, can go a long way.
Defensively, Jack Campbell. Well, we got to talk about him again. He probably could use him on this segment every single week. But we have to for sure this week. Incredible performance. You see the numbers. Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. Bronco Nagurski, National Defensive Player of the Week. And we saw the highlight. You talk about a little gift there with a fumble recovery or being able to tip a ball or something like that. But then there's those guys that are just always around the football. And that's why those types of numbers grow as the season progresses.
Yeah, no question. And I think the special thing about Jack is not only his stats, but his leadership on the field and his ability to still play his position with integrity. Because the way that Iowa defense works is everybody has to be working together. You can't play selfish defense and just go chase the football whenever you want to, because it creates gaps for them to gash you. And so he's still playing integrity, playing his gaps at a high level. And not to say that he shouldn't be the leading tackler, but really the will make either way. Micro will could be. But the fact that he still is making that many plays and playing high integrity football, the way Phil Parker wants to play, it says a lot about who he is as a person, and then obviously how good a football player he is.
And it seems like this defensive unit is pretty tight. They're together.
They obviously, yeah. These guys are special. I was talking to somebody who hadn't been in a game in a while. He's like, they hit different, they run different. They are at a different level than any Iowa defense that he's seen. He's been watching college football for 30 years. Yeah. And you're on the sideline. It just feels different. The way that every time they're flying around to the ball as a team, they're working together. They're there at each other's hip pockets when someone makes a play. It's just a great cohesive unit.
Yeah, it seems play in and play out, it's important. And as a group, I think that's one thing that's really been significant in watching this defense so far. Well, they'll be tested against a very good offense. Maryland has put up numbers and points, and one thing they do, they got a very good passing game, run a lot of screens, and Gavin will talk about in X's and O's how to defend the Maryland passing game.
All right, welcome to today's segment of X's and O's. We're going to get into Maryland, who right now is lighting it up offensively, led by Talua Tungviola, the younger brother of Tua Tungviola, the now Miami Dolphins quarterback. So he's having a really nice year, averaging over 300 yards a game in passing. And one of the things they do, on top of throwing the ball down the field well, is they have a really effective screen game, okay? So let's talk about the screen game and how, as a defense, we can defend the screen. So when we talk about screen, you've all seen this type of play. There are a multitude of ways to run the screen game. You can do it with receivers. You can do it with tight ends. You can do it with running backs. They do it with all right? But we're going to specifically point one out that has to do with the running back, okay? So we're just in a basic spread formation here. We got a quarterback, running back, single tight end, 3 receivers. We got a slot to the field here. So what they do is simply snap the ball, all right? This running back is going to act like he's pass protecting, all right? We got a pass protection here. Generally, you have 2 guys from the offensive line that are going to go lead that screen blocking, sometimes 3. Let's just say for this purpose, 2 guys from the offensive line that are going to go lead that screen out. So let's say the first one is going to be this tackle. His idea is he's going to let this defensive end run up the field, act like he's blocking him, but he's going to let him go completely. All right, then he's going to go out here, and he's going to be the protector for this running back. Same thing here with this center, okay? So these three are staying home. The center's going to let this nose tackle through. He's going to run out. So now you have two offensive linemen leading this screen play. The running back's going to slip out. He's going to turn, and as this quarterback's dropping in a pass play, he's going to throw that ball, kind of dump it over top, most likely your defensive end and your defensive tackle, who are now free because these linemen let him go. He's going to dump it over top to him, and these two are going to lead on this screen play, okay? It's a very effective play, especially in long yardage situations where everybody's expecting that pass. These defensive linemen are pinning their ears back, and they're pass rushing like crazy. They're going to go try to pass rush. Now we throw it over top, and we just do a little dump screen play. It's kind of an extension of the run game, really, is what it is. So the keys to this defensively, number one, our D-line has to read that. This defensive end has to read that this tackle is not actually trying to block him very well because he is the easiest way to make this play. Same thing with this defensive tackle. All right. Then the second thing is the safeties, the Mike linebacker, the Sam linebacker, they have to play the blocks. Don't try to avoid them. Don't try to gash them. Go play that offensive lineman block just like it's a line of scrimmage, and then come off and make a play. And the third thing is all 11 people, all 11 guys on defense have to be flying to the ball. All right, this is team defense is what's going to stop this play. It's a very effective play. They'll do it, again, like I said, tight end, they'll do a tight end screen, running back screen, probably a tunnel type receiver screen as well. Big time game this Friday night against Maryland. 7 o'clock this Friday. Super excited. That's it for today's segment of X's and O's.
Hawkeyes jump back into Big Ten play, a Friday night contest. Maryland Terrapins and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Last time Iowa went to Maryland, got beat back in 2014, but have won the last two inside Kinnick. We'll talk about that ball game and the rest of the Big Ten when we come back. Black and Gold Breakdown on MC22 is brought to you by McGrath Family of Dealerships, 5 Seasons Tire, Tom Riley Law Firm, Collins Community Credit Union, Heartland Hearing Center, and by Extreme, powered by Mediacom.
Every second, 127 new devices connect to the internet. You can feel it happening. Our digital world expanding with every breath. We're entering a whole new era of connectivity, and Mediacom will be ready to power it with one of the nation's first 10G platforms. We'll be bringing you more speed, more capacity, more security, and the power to do more than you ever dreamed possible. Today, more than ever, you need fast, reliable internet. At Mediacom, we want you to know you can count on us. Our fiber-powered 100% gigabit technology network was built for the future. We have enormous capacity and power and 99.99% network reliability. So even though these are uncertain times, we're prepared. And you can be certain we'll keep your world connected.
Thank you for virtual family dinners and long-distance birthday wishes. Thank you for sweet streaming melodies and spontaneous dance parties. Thank you for keeping classrooms together and learning alive. Thank you to our incredible network of employees who make all these beautiful connections possible.
Today, more than ever, you need fast, reliable internet. At Mediacom, we want you to know you can count on us. Our fiber-powered 100% gigabit technology network was built for the future. We have enormous capacity and power and 99.99% network reliability. So even though these are uncertain times, we're prepared. And you can be certain we'll keep your world connected.
Hawks and the Terrapins on Friday night. Capital One Field at Maryland Stadium. As we talked about, Iowa's not been there since 2014. This is just the 4th meeting between the two teams. And to restart the Big Ten campaign, of course it's on the road. Friday night, a lot of different intangibles. against a Maryland team that is also undefeated. Maybe their best victory is against West Virginia. It sounds like it's got a pretty good ball club.
Yeah, they do. Maryland's playing good football. I mean, this is a very dangerous game for us. Obviously, an away game at Maryland, but 4-0 team that's throwing the ball around like crazy, over 300 yards a game. You've got a really effective receiver, number 7. Watch out for him. Dante Demas, averaging over 100 yards a game and 18 yards a catch. So they'll go down the field with them. They have a pretty effective running game. I think that's where we can definitely have the edge there. But the Tulu Tungviola, if I'm saying his name right, is tough. But to me, my key for the game would be our special teams play. I know I sound like a nerd, but if we can win the field position battle, we can flip the field, manage the clock, I think we're going to be fine, Rob.
Well, and I think, too, that was part of the problem against Colorado State.
Yeah.
Everything was kind of set up for field position. One bad punt, can't flip the field. And you're right, it shows up the way Iowa plays.
Yep, and the other thing, too, is defensively, just no big plays. I mean, that's an old Norm Parkerism. That was the key to a game.
But Maryland will try.
Yeah,
They'll
every
be-
single Friday night in the hotel was number one was no big plays for 5 years. So that's the key to me. Don't let the ball go over our heads. We can, we're bend don't break defense. We can withstand a long drive and get off the field, but we just can't give up those, 60-yard passes to this kid. He's good. So.
And Matt, an important game, too. Of course, fans, former players, we can look ahead because it's a big one against Penn State. But if you don't take care of business Friday night, it certainly lessens the luster for a home game. But you just got to keep winning. I mean, there's a lot at stake right now. You're number 5 in the country, and just got to keep moving forward and somehow try to be 1-0 every single week.
Well, and just like you just said, I mean, we've played 4 games and we've won 4 games. So as much as we can talk about, we need to do this better or whatever and improve, which we do, which, they're going to go back
and so does
look at the
everybody
film.
else.
Of course. But at this point, they're as good as you can physically be on paper in wins and losses. And to know that they can get exponentially better, I mean, that's what can lead this team to be a scary football team moving forward.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Iowa and Maryland Friday night. Let's take a look at the Big Ten standings. And on the east side, we were just kind of talking, Gavin, Michigan State, 4-0, somehow won a game without getting a first down in the second half against Nebraska. That's a team obviously on the rise. You see Maryland at 4-0, Michigan, and also Penn State. And, that team at number 5, I think, still is okay.
Yeah. I mean, Ohio State, from an eye test standpoint, might still be the best team in the East. But, I mean, it is incredible to see Michigan State at 4-0. Mel Tucker, hats off. I think, they're probably not there yet. We'll see. But, it's crowded at the top right now on the East side, Rob.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, they're back in the mix. There's no doubt about that. And I think this is a very good Michigan team. It's a little bit old school. Michigan can really run the football and play defense as we take a look at the West. And Matt, we talked. This is tough to figure out. Right now, it looks like it's right there for the taking. But, of course, Wisconsin's still Wisconsin. They're not done. Northwestern, Minnesota, as you were talking about, you just never know what you're going to get out of those teams week to week.
Right.
It could be really good.
Right. Minnesota blanks Colorado, wins 30-0, and then the next week they lose to Bowling Green 14-10. So in the West, I feel like it's there, but again, like you said, 1-0 each week.
Yeah, that's the way it's got to go. Get to make sure you win this one to make sure the next one is also big. Well, hope you enjoyed Black and Gold Breakdown. We'll talk about Iowa and Maryland. Look forward to Penn State next week.